Welcome to the Leader's Journey podcast. I'm your host, Joel Gunn, and really super excited to have Scott Pepper back on the show.
Hello.
For those that don't remember Scott, he is a magician, and he told us a story last time about how he reached a moment where he decided, I either quit now or I'm all in. So you didn't quit.
Never quit. No, I
Never
was,
quit.
I was like all in, yeah.
Except since I saw you last, you quit.
I quit, yeah.
Yeah, so...
So back then, I gave myself that mantra that I would never give up. And recently, when I last saw you, we closed the Magician's Agency. Mm-hmm. And I guess I at the time I closed, it was kind of a temporary thing just to see if we could get through the construction. But really, I had kind of decided that I had 6 good years there. And I'll be honest, because of the little downturn in tourism in San Antonio, unfortunately, in the construction around the Alamo, we were just having real problems getting people in for a tourist attraction right down there. So I didn't want to get to the point where I was losing anything. So after 6 years, I was like, do you know what? I've had a great run. Time to move away, lock up the doors, take some great memories and everything with me. So that's what I did. So, and it was funny enough, it was from reading, I think it was the name's going to escape me, the guys that wrote Freakonomics. They had a part in there about quitting and a whole thing of like how sometimes, it does make sense to do this. So I want to say that, I didn't quit out of the fact that I didn't want to do it anymore or I was not willing to try. It just made a lot more sense to close the doors for the time being. Mm-hmm. So we didn't start losing money, which was sad, of course, but also a massive relief because we were fighting and it was, it was difficult. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I could open somewhere else or something, even try and find somewhere smaller. But then lots of things happened, and here we are today, open again for 6 months, nice. And now open 7 days a week instead of 3 days a week. So there is a whole story to tell now.
Well, tell us a little bit of the story. So
sure.
What are some of the lessons learned along the way?
Yeah, so let me tell you just kind of what happened, and this... So the first thing that happened was around June, I approached my landlord and said, hey, look, if things don't improve in San Antonio, I think I'm going to have to close the doors. And he's like, okay, no problem. And this landlord's been fantastic to me the whole time I've been there. Very, very cool guy. And he said, well, I've got to tell you something. I sold the building. I was like, oh, interesting. Who did you sell it to? And he told me it was a company called Historic Tours of America, who had recently just come into San Antonio and bought up the bus tour business, essentially. Funny enough, the bus tours was run by a very good friend of mine. And I know he was struggling because of the construction, just couldn't put his buses anywhere. Mm-hmm. So when they came in, they were like, hey, we would like to take over the bus tours in San Antonio. He was like, be my guest. And they, I think they reached a lovely deal. So he had dealings with this company and told me what a wonderful company they were. So my landlord told me that Historic Tours of America would want to meet me and see if I wanted to renew my lease. I'd already said I wasn't too interested. So a few weeks later, I did meet with one of them, and little did I know they had actually sent a few people to see my product in the meantime. And I remember the night now because it was only about 30 people in, and I was doing my show, and this gentleman was sat there, and I always go around and talk to people before the show. And I said, oh, hey, where are you from? He's like, Jacksonville. I was like, oh, great. My brother lives in St. Augustine. And we got chatting. I'm like, what are you doing in town? He's like, business. And I'm like, that's strange. So I don't press, I did my show. Everything went well. And afterwards, we're sitting around just chilling out after the show. And I said, what was that guy's name? And they said, oh, his name was Christian Belland. And I was like, okay. And I looked it up, and it was like Vice President of Historic Tours of America. I'm like, so I'm glad he saw a good show. So after that, I started meeting with these guys, and they told me how much they liked the product that we were doing. And they said, did you want to renew your lease? I said, no, I think I'm done. And they're like, what if you didn't? Or what if you didn't leave? What if we opened again? I said, all right, talk to me. And it took about 6 months of going back and forward. I met the CEO. I had sit-downs with the VP, the CEO, the San Antonio's manager, and we eventually came to an agreement where we would essentially partner on this project. We switched the name from Magician's Agency to Magic Saloon. The one thing the CEO wanted was to be open 7 days a week, and that came with its own issues that then I had to figure out. And so we opened March 31st and have been open ever since as the Magic Saloon. And it has been an amazing experience. Like, this company has been incredible to work with.
You said being open 7 days a week comes with its own challenges, especially since you live in Colorado.
So I guess I like to say that I got so lucky, right? And I know, some people slap me and say, no, it wasn't luck. You did this, like, you created this. And I was like, yeah, but if these guys would have bought the building a year later, I would have never met them. It just happened that they bought the building at the right time. They sent people to see the show and it happened that we kept the product, at its top end until the very end. And they saw that, which was amazing. But the great thing was, during all this time, I had a team that I was training, and Mia, who is my operations manager now, she was my manager when she worked for me at the Magicians Agency. And when it came to the fact of them saying we want to be open 7 days a week and I'm not going to be there all the time, I immediately knew that she could handle it when I wasn't there. And that's what she's been doing. So I kind of oversee the whole project now, but she takes care of the day-to-day operations. So I've been very, very grateful to have this great team now that run everything while I'm not in San Antonio.
So do you have body doubles that wear your mask? And,
No, I'm actually, funny enough, during the beginning of the show, they wanted, Historic Tours wanted me to be the face of the company still, which is great. So I'm on all we got new magic kits now with my face on them all.
Right.
I'm on a video at the beginning of the show showing I talk to people about the theater, I talk about the things they can purchase, and then just before the show, I do an interactive magic trick with everyone in the audience. So they know my face. So even when I want to sneak in and watch a show, people recognize me now.
That's that guy.
It's that guy on the door, or the guy on the TV. So it means I get to look at the bigger picture now, and look. I get to concentrate on booking the talent, which is one of the biggest things, because now we're open 7 days a week. We need magicians 52 weeks of the year, so we need the top quality. And so I'm always out there looking for new talent, and people are sending me video submissions and things like that. And I'm also looking at all the creative side of the business as well. So it's really freed me up to do some of the stuff that I absolutely adore, which has been amazing. But the biggest challenge of being open 7 days a week now is we're bound to have some shows that are a little less less
populated. Sure.
Exactly. So the way we had the theater set out last time was 100 seats, big stage. I say if 10 people are in here, it's going to be tough for the act. So I pitched the idea of shrinking everything down to this more intimate venue now, and so now we're down to about 65 seats, but it means if 10 people are in there, it feels like they've got this intimate experience. We added a little bit more, so we shrunk the stage down about half the size, but when we added a thrust at the front of the stage, so when magicians are performing smaller things, they are right there.
Yeah.
People are, it's such it's a really nice feeling now. So even if it's quiet, the magicians have a great show. People feel like it's busy. So if we're half full, it feels full. It's crazy. And what that gave us was it opened up all this staging area. Because back in the day, I built that stage for my Big Illusion show that I used to do on Disney Cruise Lines, right? All these big boxes. I haven't got any of those anymore. And we had all this space. So we ripped it all out. And now the public can go backstage and they can see the Alamo from our windows. They can see all these props that we've put out there. It's like a little museum, as well as a scavenger hunt, and they can explore the building a lot more, and people are absolutely loving it. So it gave us this opportunity to do some amazing things that I probably couldn't have done, financially, if it was just me. But with the backing from Historic Tours, we've been able to knock this product up another level.
That's cool. So as you're looking for talent, you obviously have some idea of who you're looking for. Is that is it more important about how they're wired, how they present themselves? Is this more about their resume? Like what do you like? Because everybody's looking for talent.
Sure.
And some people just go, well, if I just post a job ad, but yours is so unique. You've probably got a thought process, I think, that would be intriguing for people to hear how you.
And I am extremely picky. Because our theatre, there's a lot of magic theatres around the country, but ours is very unique in the sense it's family friendly. So the acts we bring in have got to work clean, obviously, but they've got to appeal to the adults on the magic side, but be visual enough for the kids to be engaged the whole time. So what we don't tend to book is mentalism, because that's not very visual. so kids, we allow kids 6 and up into the theater, and they can get very restless when they're not watching something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the hardest part, is finding acts that can, kind of get right on that line of family friendly, but definitely not a kids show, because we never want to be known as just a kids show, right? Because some nights it's just adults in the audience, and that magician has to be able to do the same act for those as he did for the families. So it's tough. I've got 21 acts on the roster right now.
Wow.
And because I've had to say no to a lot of people because their act, although it's fantastic, just wouldn't work in our particular venue. So the way I find acts is a lot of recommendations, and then people will send me their 45-minute, hour-long video. I sit there and watch the whole thing, and then I can decide if they would work for our place or not. And then recently, I just went to Las Vegas in August for a big magic convention called Magic Live that happens every year. So that was a great opportunity for me to go and meet magicians and talk. And I had some great meetings, and we actually booked a gentleman named Mark Kalin, who, potentially booked. We're just trying to figure out the dates. But he was one of the guys that inspired me when I was younger to get into magic, or to start doing bigger illusions. So I sat across like we are now, and he's pitching himself in my theater, and he's like, "Hey, I can send you a video." I was like, "You don't need to send me a video. I'm not going to be giving you notes. Don't worry." It was a real lovely moment for me because, as I said, I'd seen them on a Disney special when I was younger. I watched them on a show called World's Greatest Magic. One of my illusions was directly inspired by what they did. So now to be able to have them come in and show them, how that turned into this is just, I'm very, very happy about that. And it seems like the word of the Magic Saloon has been getting around magicians now, and I'm getting a lot more people want to come and perform at the venue. So it's been really, really exciting.
Is it common for magicians to travel? So do some shows in Chicago, do some shows in San Antonio?
Yes, absolutely. It's pretty much, most of the magicians I know, it's all they do. One guy I know just does non-stop traveling. He's everywhere across the country. So we are now kind of one of those venues. I think there's a lot of venues around the US that do magic shows, but there's probably like a top 10 or 15 that people like to make a circuit out of. The most popular being the Magic Castle in Hollywood, and then there's Chicago Magic Lounge, which is another one. And we are kind of now carving our little niche in there, which is nice. So they're like, okay, well, if I'm doing this one here, I can fly a little bit extra and do San Antonio, and then go and do Houston, and so we're getting these.
Are there some venues in Dallas and Houston that are kind of part of that national network?
Well, actually, Houston, one of the acts that we hire quite a lot, a gentleman named Harry Maurer, he's created a little circuit in Houston of these little shows. So he does, I think, 4 shows in a week now. So when the magicians come and do my place, they can then drive down to Houston and do a 4-day run of shows in Houston, which is great.
Some synergy there.
Yeah, and then there's lectures as well that magicians can do. So there's magic clubs in San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Houston. So if the magician has a lecture that he will present to magicians, he can go from city to city and do that as well.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like you've created a pretty cool ecosphere, right, with all the networking that's happening. And
yeah, and so we want to work with these other venues, and share and recommend people. But the most exciting thing, this is going to be what, like I said, this is the maybe the next podcast we talk about this.
Well, at the end of the last podcast, you shared something. You're like, I haven't even told my close friends, but I'm telling them at dinner tonight. Yeah. It's like, good. Well, we'll delay the airing of this. So,
well, this is definitely okay to talk about. Okay. It's in the maybe. We're just waiting for the right situations, but we are looking at expanding the Magic Saloon now to other cities.
Awesome.
We're not sure which ones or when, but it's definitely Historic Tours of America. They like the product and they think this could work elsewhere. So not to trap you into a particular city, but is this like we go to Branson next or Vegas next, or like those tourist towns? It's a great question. So Historic Tours of America already operate in 9 different cities around the country. If I can remember them, it's DC, Boston, Nashville, St. Augustine, Savannah, Charleston, Key West, San Antonio, San Diego.
Okay.
Hope I haven't missed one.
Sounds right.
So
it'd be go those markets first.
These would be the markets to look at. Yeah. So what we do first, we looked at the ones that already have popular magic venues. So like Nashville already has a big magic venue, so we probably wouldn't look at that just yet. But the ones that don't have them maybe would be a great place to start. And all I've ever wanted is this to be multiple cities. It would be incredible.
You didn't mention Denver. That would be kind of convenient.
It would be very nice.
But then you couldn't get away, for that respite that you find.
This is true. And also, Historic Tours of America tend to stick with very historic cities where they can create a narrative. And,
right. Especially if they have bus tours and other products. So.
Exactly, yeah. And if you've ever been to Key West or St. Augustine, like pretty much all those things that are happening around there are run by Historic Tours of America.
I was in Key West earlier this year with my wife, and we were probably on one of their buses.
Yeah, the buses, the train is theirs as well. Mm-hmm. Ghost Tours is there. They run the Shipwreck Museum. They run the aquarium. They have their fingers in a lot of things. And the great thing is Chris, the CEO, he is a massive magic fan.
Okay.
So when he found out that he was buying a building with a magic theater in, he just got super excited.
Yeah.
And he's just been amazing to work with. And it's almost like I've always been looking for, when I created Magician's Agency, I created it on my own. I didn't have any partners. I had some investors, but no partners. And I was always looking for someone who wanted to partner up, that had I was always the creative. I needed the business side, mm-hmm. right? So I had to learn everything myself. And I was always better at the creative than I was the business side, but I made it work. I always joke that I made it all up as I went along, but it worked. But with Historic Tours now, I feel like I have that second part.
Business, yeah.
Yeah, we have a marketing team now. We have an HR team. We have a payroll team. And I haven't got to worry about any of that. They just know that I can cover the creative. I know that I'll keep the product to the top level that it can be. And they deal with all the rest of it. So it's been incredible.
You just made a really powerful point, almost a case study. There's so many entrepreneurs that go build something and grow something, and then they feel like, well, it's my baby. I've got to protect, control the whole thing. They might not use those words, but that's their actions. And you really wrestled through that and said, what I'm really good at is this. If I could find somebody that was a great business partner, mm-hmm. then we could really have some fun. And a lot of entrepreneurs wrestle with letting a piece of the business go. So your comment earlier about you almost had to let it die, almost like, mm-hmm. I'm prepared to kill it,
yep.
right? And then for it to be resurrected into something that was even better. Super cool.
I think when I had the Magician's Agency, I knew I had taken it as far as I could take it. So our attendance was based on everything that was happening in San Antonio at the time. But I was learning as much as I could, but there was only so much I could take on running the place, right? I couldn't then go back to business school or, become a marketing expert. It wasn't going to happen. I tried a lot of different things. I brought in marketing teams. I did stuff like that. But I really felt like if conditions were great in San Antonio, like they were in 2019, 2021, we thrived. Completely. We had the product that worked. When things were difficult, it was really hard for me to catch up. So when I realized that I took it as far as I could, the only thing that would have changed that is having someone else come on board. And I was always looking. There was a few people I nearly kind of teamed up with, but I was always looking for someone to come on and bring us up. So with this now, by giving essentially half the business away, it can now push it 10 times what I could ever push mm-hmm. it, but still using what I've learned and everything. It's just great. And everyone that works for Historic Tours so far has just been, they've had that same drive and enthusiasm about the company. Chris, the CEO, and the VP, Christian, who's Chris's son, are just so passionate about what they do mm-hmm. that it's wonderful to work with. First time I met Chris, he took me to dinner in San Antonio and we're talking about the concept, and I'm chatting with his son and Steve, who runs San Antonio, and we see Chris just giggling to himself next to me. And I was like, we kind of stopped. I was like, what is it, Chris? And he's just like, this is just such a fun job we have, isn't it? We're like, yeah, here it is, And mm-hmm. I think the way he just realized in that moment how grateful he was of the fun things we get to do in this industry.
Yeah, and I think of the most successful, and successful, I don't mean necessarily giant or large. I'm not talking about size, but people love their product. People value the service or the thing that they offer to the world. If I talk to any one of them, they're enjoying the moment. Mm-hmm. I've got a really good friend. He's in his late 60s, and he was in a peer group meeting a few years ago, and I think when he hit 65, somebody's like, so you going to retire? And he's like, retire? I've waited my whole life for technology to get this good, right? And because a lot of what he does centers around, as technology improves, he gets to do things he only dreamed of, when he was a kid or when he was, in his 40s. And he's like, no way. Like, this is the perfect season. I'm having too much fun.
I think it was Walt Disney, just before he died, he said that if he could live another 10 years, he would have exceeded everything he'd ever done. I think those last few years he was alive, he had the momentum that he always wanted, and he knew that he could do more and more and more and more because, like you said, either technology or the people around him, the team he'd built. So I think Chris sees it the same way. Every time he takes on a new project like this, he just sees what it can become. I mean, they've just created a cooking school in Key West now. And I'm not sure, when were you there, did you say?
January, February?
Oh, I think, yeah. So I was there in June and it was their opening. So you maybe, but it's in building 1, which is because they own that building. And it's a building that they used to use to build yachts. So it's right next to the cruise ship port. It's a beautiful building. And upstairs, they've built this cooking school. And you go in and it's like a 3-4 course meal, and they show you how they make everything, and you get to try it, and it's like a show. It's such a great product, and it was so exciting to see it, and he's become very passionate about that as well. So
yeah. So what's next for Scott? What do you see in the next 6 months to a year when you come back on the podcast?
Ooh, yeah. Well, I mean, if I could tell you that we had a second venue ready to open, that would be the most exciting thing. But at the same time, we're still improving what we've got here in San Antonio. Like every day, something exciting has happened. We're getting a new magician in. We're adding something to the venue. It's just been an amazing ride. And so, yeah, I would like to say in 6 months to a year that San Antonio is, maybe the tourism has come back a little bit in San Antonio would be good. We're still a little bit short of that, but hopefully.
Your building's still impacted by traffic flow?
So we've still got a lot of construction downtown, which is affecting everyone, but also tourism, unfortunately, overall is down in San Antonio right now. But again,
is it just San Antonio or is it nationwide?
So San Antonio was down anyway. Nationwide is now down, so San Antonio is a little bit further down.
Okay. And
that could be as I said, the construction and things like that could be part of that. But we're luckily, again, Historic Tours of America have come in and they're working with Visit San Antonio to help any way they can to bring business back into San Antonio. So they're really working to get them back. I mean, they've gambled a lot on being in this city. So.
Well, San Antonio, for as long as I can remember, has always been known as a tourist town. Hospitality, tends to be higher here than some parts of the nation. So I think it'll swing back.
Yeah, I think we're all, I mean, like I said, they're betting on it. I think everyone's very optimistic it will. We're just trying to get through that kind of quiet period. But at the minute, so Magic Saloon's not doing too bad at all, being that we're open 7 days a week. So
just as we bring the episode to a close, if somebody wanted to come check out your show, is it magicsaloon.com?
It is magicsaloon.com, yeah.
TheMagicSaloon.com.
I know, sorry. It's www.magicsaloon.com. We've probably got TheMagicSaloon.com as well, but magicsaloon.com. And actually it will show you a list of all the performers that are going to be here, so you can pick which week you want to come to see whoever it is you like. Each one, is a different show. So, and then when you arrive, you have that 1 hour before the show where you can explore the venue, do our scavenger hunt, watch the close-up magic, we got a great bar now with mocktails. We just added our liquor license, so we're going to be adding beer, wine, and cocktails very soon as well. So that hopefully should be in by Christmas.
Oh,
yeah. So we're that's going to be exciting. As well.
Speaking of Christmas, do you guys do any themed thing or
not so much themed? We will decorate the place, but we don't do any kind of theme show. The reason I've never done that, and reason being is because. I want the people that can only get in over Christmas holidays to be able to experience the same show that they would do if they came in the summer or whatnot. Because, but
cool.
We didn't want to. There's so many Christmas themed things. It kind of felt better to not be themed, and then
somebody could go get a break.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they can do something that isn't Christmassy themed, but we'll make the place look nice. You have to come by.
Yeah,
I need to show you around.
Yeah,
I think you'll love it. It's again, very proud of it now and very excited to be part of this amazing project. And going back to the thing I said about, how people, I always say I was lucky. I guess the one thing, if we are looking at a lesson to be learned here was, I think you said it yourself on the last podcast, right? That luck is, what do you say? Preparedness for
meets
opportunity, right?
And
I remember you said that on the last time. And I look at it as like if we wouldn't have been ready for them, even though we didn't know they were coming, if we wouldn't have been ready, then this wouldn't have happened. But because we just kept everything to the top level, that when they came in, luck exploded, and here we are. So, I will, very, very grateful for everything that's been going on.
A super cool story. Love being able to kind of check in with you. We'll have to make this a regular thing.
Absolutely. I have some more exciting news for you.
And so right now you're all in, no quitting.
No quitting.
It was a strategic quit, and it paid off.
It was a strategic.
Paid off.
It was actually. It came from a gentleman. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Scott Galloway. He's a podcaster. Anyway, he wrote a book, and one of the key points with it is he said, "Follow your talent, not your passion." And there was a whole chapter on that.
Wow.
And, for years, obviously, I've been following my talent, magician, and then he challenged you to write down like what. Being a magician, what have you learned other than doing the magic? And I wrote down all this list of, things that I'd learned being a magician, being creative and like doing the marketing, doing all these things for the theater. And I was like, well, what if I could make this a job? Instead of just relying on the performance side. And then here we are. Yeah. Now this is my job. So, and I do get to still perform. If you come over the Christmas period, you will see my show.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I do it about 6 times a year. So I will still be a magician there for sure. And every now and then I pop on and do the warm-up act. But, again.
So that's impromptu.
Yeah.
Or not advertised.
Never advertised. Yeah. Okay. I was the close-up magician the other day. Every now and then I do something, but excited to still be on stage, but also be behind the scenes as well.
That's very cool. Scott, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us for this episode of A Leader's Journey podcast. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to our channel.